Hi, I'm Adam, one of the founders of Gamably. So if you've gotten this far, you've probably tried giving your players XP so they can level up. You've tried giving them badges to show that they've earned skills. But you really want to go to the next level. The best way to do that is by using items. So items are one of the most versatile tools in the Gamably toolbox. They can basically do whatever you want to do in the game within your own frame of reference. So we have 5 different types of items in the game. You've got inventory items, you've got real world items, you've got lottery items, you've got contribution items, which are things that players can contribute to in order to earn, and you've got collectibles. So those are basically the 5 major roles. We're going to start talking about the inventory items, and these are items that really can do anything you want them to do in the game. So inventory items have a couple of different functions within Gamably. For one, they can basically be like badges that if a player earns or owns an item, that can be sort of a sign that they've achieved something. That's one way that we can use inventory items. Another way we can use them is as a gatekeeper. So you can also do this with badges and levels as well, but it works really well with items. If you almost kind of think about Zelda, if you played Nintendo way back a million years ago, in order to defeat a certain bad guy, you had to have a certain type of sword. You can kind of look at that the same way. In order to access this challenge, you have to own this item. So that's another way of using it. The other thing that's really great about inventory items is that they can be turned in for whatever purpose. So essentially, when a player earns a particular item, and if you have set that item to be able to turn in, they can turn that item in, and either you can give them rewards for it, or it can be something that you just give them out in the real world. For example, you may have an item where if a player turns it in, they get to be the line leader for that day. Or you could have an item where if a player turns it in, they might be able to choose a topic of their writing assignment. If you're a fan of the movie Super Troopers, you can have an item where for the next 10 minutes, everybody in the class has to say the word meow at the end of every sentence. I mean, that is a perfect example of an inventory item. So let's talk about how we might use these in the classroom, and I'm going to do that by showing you how to build them. So let's take a look. All right, let's jump into our pirate game that we've created during these tutorials. So we're first going to go to the Manage Elements section where we do, anytime we create game elements, we're going to go down to Items, and then we'll see the same management screen we've seen on the other items we've seen so far. It looks pretty similar. You've got your visible, hidden, deleted, the create an item. What's different here is there's an upload button, and there are a few game elements where you can upload a list. And you can do that here by either making a copy of this Google Sheet if you're using a Google account, or you can download a CSV and use Excel or a different type of spreadsheet platform, fill in the information that's required or optional, and then you can upload it and it will create your items for you. The only difference is you can't upload an image, so you'd have to go back through and change the icons for any items that you upload. So just something to know. So we're going to jump into the create an item form. So again, this is very similar to the ones we've seen before, and I've got some that were created here, but again, coming up with some ideas thanks to the help of some LLMs. Our first one's going to be the Quartermaster's Compass. So I'll throw that in here. Make sure there's an apostrophe. So this one grants the player the ability to be basically the leader for the day, classroom management, transitions, and things like that. I'm going to upload an icon. And again, using the help of some AI, I have created this icon, this item. So we have templates that are available in our resource center, and we'll have a different video where we walk through the templates that we offer. This is a good one for items. It has a title at the top, a place for you to put an image, and then a description at the bottom. You can change the backgrounds, put borders on it. Is a cool little tool, so we'll have a different video where you can check that out. So we're looking at inventory items here in this particular video, so we're going to click inventory items, and when we do, that allows us to save it. We're good to go, but there's a lot of advanced options for inventory items, so let's take a look at those. Here, we'll go ahead and put this in classroom items as a category. Again, you can create your own, and once you create some categories, they'll show up here so you don't accidentally misspell things. Visibility and availability is similar to what we've seen in the other ones. Can they actually see it? This turns the item off totally. It disappears from their inventory and all that. Available to be earned. Can they actually earn a new one? And then here, can they preview it? So if they don't own it yet, it'll show up as a question mark in the inventory. If they do own it, then they can see it. I'm going to turn the preview on so that at least they see sort of a grayed out version of it. Will this item be for sale? Yeah, let's put it up for 200 coins in the marketplace. Now, how the item can be used. This first one says the item is available to be sold back for currency. So you can actually put a resale price on this. So we'll say they'll get 100 back if they sell it back to us. This option is that they can be turned in and used for whatever the purpose is. And this is really the point of inventory items, is that they can be given back or turned in, and then you, the game master, or other players or whatever, have to do whatever that item says. So when a player turns in one of these items, that's going to show up in your the action items list, and you can then take whatever action you want. The other settings that we have under here, aside from being able to be turned in, is you can set a default amount of points or currency or badges or items or prize packs, whatever else you want to set as the default. For when a player turns in an item, you have the option of giving them rewards for turning that in. You don't have to, but you can do it. This will just set a template. You can always change it. The next section is prerequisites, and this is where we start to see the gatekeeping. So in this particular case, the prerequisites that we set here are the ones that players must have in order to access this item. So you can set how many points they have to have a minimum. You can also choose a level. You can also choose which badge or badges they should earn before accessing it. You can also, if you have other items, say what items they should own, or you can say what team they're on. Since we set up teams before, that's a way of also gatekeeping some of these items as well, so you can have team-specific items. The next section is limitations. So the first option is how many of these items can be owned by any player at any point. So basically, this is the total number of items of this item is out in your game. So if you say, there's only going to be 2 of these items, then only 2 players can own it at any given time. So you can also say, put this back and say, return the item to the total if it's used by a player. So you can almost look at it like a deck of cards. Like if you hand out the ace of spades, is that ace of spades then gone and no one will ever get it again? Or will the ace of spades go back into the deck? So that's kind of one way of looking at that option there. The next one is how many of these items can be a player own at any time. So for most collectibles, you'd want these to be, just one, so a player only owns one at a time. But you can set this to be whatever number you want. The next section is how many total times can a player earn or purchase this item. So again, these limitations are, for your specificity. Chances are you're probably not going to set many of these options, but you can, say that a player can only buy this thing 2 times or 3 times, things like that. So the last one is the dates of availability. When will it be available and when will it close? You can set those dates as well. So I'm going to leave a lot of these options just blank for right now. We're not going to have any prerequisites, but we're going to go ahead and save this item. So once we save it, it's going to show up in our list of items. There's the Quartermaster's Compass. So I'm going to create a couple more, and then we'll take a look at this from the player's perspective. All right, let's take a look at this from the player's perspective now. We're looking at the player page. So you'll notice now that we've started creating items that these featured items show up here, and every time a player goes, if you don't set that on the master page, the players will see a different featured item each time. So you can choose that item, but for right now, we're seeing these featured random ones. So what we're looking at here is the inventory. You'll notice that the players now have game items, real items. There's no real items created yet. That's a different video. But now we've got 4 game items, and you can see some information about each of these. But right now it's grayed out because the player doesn't own any of them. So in order for them to purchase them, again, they can earn them by completing challenges and finding secret codes and things like that. But you also have the option of putting them in the marketplace. So right now there's 3 of them in the marketplace, and this is one of those fun things that we added. This charter scroll is probably like a big prize. It's 300 coins. This allows the players to choose an end of unit reward. So, you may want that to only be available 1 time. So it says there's 1 more of this element available. I set that in one of the settings, is how many times can any player purchase it, and it's just once. So if this player wants to buy it, they actually don't have enough money to do that. They've only got 220 and it's 300, so that's not going to work. Even if you put that in the shopping cart and go to the cart, you can't complete the purchase because there's not enough balance. But if we want to buy this Jolly Roger pass, they can throw that in the cart, proceed. When they purchase it, It's going to say, do you want to spend your 100 coins on this? When the player says yes, it will go through, make the purchase, say it was successful, and you'll notice now in the inventory, the one that they own here, the Jolly Roger Pass, they have one. There's a history now. They can see that they made that purchase on this date, and you can see a little bit of information about that. And the using of the item is the big important part here. Now, the Jolly Roger Pass, they can use, how many do they want to use? They've only got one, so they can only do one. If they want to include a note, they can include that note. But when they use the item, so are you sure you're ready to use it? That item then goes away. Notice they don't have any more in their inventory, and you, in your action items, now have that this testy person turned in the Jolly Roger Pass on such and such a date. You now have the ability to say a response. You can either approve or decline. When you're using items, if you decline it, it will go right back into the player's inventory. If you approve it, then you keep it. You can put any comments. This is where we can add those rewards if you wanted to. And when you save the action, it says, are you sure you want to approve it? Again, at this point now, you would do whatever that card said, or give the player the right to do whatever it is that the card was supposed to do. But the player will also now see that that item's been used. So that is how that whole process works. Again, these inventory items are a great way to add some customization, some extra fun things to your game. So give that a shot.